Hello, this is Larry at larryricker.com, and in this video I'm going to talk about container apps. I'm going to give you a demonstration of what container apps are and how you create one. If you like this video, click on the like button below and you can subscribe to my channel. Apps in the Apple App Store, they include the Project Organizer app and the Project Organizer Pro apps, the Job Hunt Pro apps, the Opportunity Organizer app, the Class Organizer Pro app, and the Student Organizer Pro apps. I did submit the container app into the App Store today, and it was approved in about 15 minutes. So that puts my 5 apps in the App Store, 2 of which have not been approved for sale for the last 18 months. So the container app model definitely works. So now going back to my definition of a container app. So I've covered single app target. So it's going to be a single app that's going to get generated. The app's going to contain multiple apps within the same app through in-app purchases. So you've seen how to set up the in-app purchases. Now, there's going to be multiple app experiences and behaviors per in-app purchase. So for that, I need to demonstrate going into Xcode and show you a little bit of code. Okay, I'm going to have to do some refactoring to make this a container app. I mean, it is already a container app, but my current logic is that previously I had a freemium version where the name of the app was always of one type of app, and then I could do conditional logic based on the type of app. So this is going to be some programming specific to my particular app. But I have methods in here that segues out of my free version into my paid version if the person has in fact paid for the apps. So I was looking over my notes and considering the logic that I have in my app, and I decided to map it out exactly what I was trying to do. You might have to do a table like this to try to get your logic all straight and before you program it. So I have a few flags in my app that control the behavior of the application. First of all, I want to determine if it's a paid app, and then that determines whether the user will go to the free version or the paid version of the application. The paid version doesn't have any limitations and doesn't have any advertising, and the free version obviously does. So for each of the products, whether it's the base app of Project Organizer, that's not a paid app, it's a free app. And then the other free apps also, like Class Organizer and Opportunity Organizer, they also are free apps, and so they would not be a paid app. And then the other flag I have is differentiating. There's 2 flags to differentiate between a student app, a career app, and a project organizer app. So for each of the different app types, I have the flags. Is a class organizer true, false? And then is it a career app? Is it true or false? And I set the flags accordingly, and that drives the behavior through my app. Now what that looks like in code is I have is a purchased product as a Boolean return from a method, and then I have is a student freemium product and is a career freemium product. Now I cascaded the logic in here, and in that I have another method inside of status report settings, which is a static method, so it can be called simply as status report settings is career app, and then that returns whether or not this is a career app, but it does it based on the bundle ID. The bundle ID would identify the actual target, and then within that, I added logic if it is the bundle ID of Project Organizer, which is my container app. I had to have logic if it is a career freemium app, then I want to return yes, even though it's inside of a Project Organizer app. Now, similarly, I've got logic here for is, actually that same module, it's is student app. And then that method, well, it drives behavior all through the application, but let me see if I can jump to the definition. So in here I've got is a student app, and Project Organizer normally would not be a student organizer app, but if it's a student freemium app, then I return yes. And to get those yes/no answers, I jumped over to I created them inside of my in-app purchase helper application, and I do a check to see if the person has purchased a class organizer Pro, or a student organizer Pro app. Any of those three apps should get the student behavior. And then similarly, I have a method here for is a career freemium app, and then for the two career apps, I have Opportunity Organizer and Opportunity Organizer Pro. It has that it is a career app, and then that cascades up into the is career app method, and then we'll control and drive the logic throughout the app. And just to give you an idea of some of that logic, if I search through my code, there's actually a lot of references throughout the application where it drives the behavior of whether it's a student app or a career app, and then there's variation in behavior based on that. But this is just kind of a guideline of how to, for you, if you want to build like a framework, it's going to be a lot easier to manage and get your logic right if your logic's only in one location, and you can just focus on getting it right and then use that method throughout your entire application everywhere to make decisions about behavior. Testing the application, and this is it's actually a project status app Pro version, but I'm going to use it I'm using it to track this project as I'm working through it, and I've been recording some of the defects in it that I've been experiencing. I mark them as fixed when I get them completed. So recently I had, at first the app was coming up when I did the in-app purchase, it was coming up with the Project Organizer app and then saying it was $2.99, and that was obviously a bug because it was the Student Organizer Pro app that was $2.99, and it was getting those crossed, and that's because I had an array of all the possible, well, my logic was based on the app name of the app, and since now it's a container, I have to change all that logic, and it has to be based on the actual upsell in-app purchase. So I fixed that, and then when I actually completed the purchase, hit the button, the app was actually purchasing the Class Organizer non-Pro app instead of the Student Organizer Pro app. So that was a matter of, it was always choosing the first product in the array, because previously there was only one product in my array. So that was a bug, and I've had to fix that. And now I'm going to work on the in-app purchase logic here. I want to modify the product request method. So I had to look at this logic, and what I have is it's setting an attribute here, upsell, and upsell is set to the title of the product. So when I launch the application, in order to reinstall it, you just have to choose it from the list of all the targets that you have. Pick your target, pick your device, set it to your device, and then execute it, and then it'll reload it onto the device. And it'll appear right there. Okay, so now I'm going to demonstrate it. It is Project Organizer, and it's currently a free version, and it's promoting Student Organizer Pro. And the reason it's advertising Student Organizer Pro is because Student Organizer Pro is set to the upsell, which is the localized title of all of the in-app purchases that are available. Now, I had originally implemented all my in-app purchase logic based on one of these tutorials, like by Ray Wenderlich, back in 2013 and 2014. So that's why it's all written in Objective-C, but now it's been upgraded to Swift, but it wasn't at that time because Swift wasn't available. So just to show what iTunes Connect looks like now, this is how it looked the other day, where I didn't have any of my in-app purchases approved. So if I refresh this, so now the in-app purchases are all approved. Apple did that rather quickly yesterday, and you can see the order here. So I've got Class Organizer first, Class Organizer Pro, then Opportunity Organizer Pro, then Project Organizer Pro, and then Student Organizer Pro. Okay, now if I go to the Settings tab, okay, it still says Student Organizer Pro. Let's go look at these order as they're coming back. So the order top to bottom is Class Organizer Pro, Opportunity Organizer Pro, Project Organizer Pro, and then Student Organizer Pro. And if you look at the order here, Class Organizer Pro, Opportunity Organizer Pro, Opportunity Organizer Pro, Student Organizer Pro, and then Project Organizer. So I guess these aren't really specified with ordering yet because I haven't activated all these, but I really can't activate them until I release a new executable that can handle these modules here. So the new API that came out with iOS 11 has some new methods in there, and you can hide products from sale, and you can reorder the products in sale, and you can specify a list of all the product IDs identifiers, and then it'll reorder them according to that list. I'm going to take a different route because mine's in Objective-C, and I tried that, and I had a little trouble getting it working in Objective-C. So, and my in-app purchase logic's all written in Objective-C instead of Swift. I'm going to put some logic in here right now to choose the in-app purchases. So I'm going to put my business logic right here. So this loop just kind of went through each of the products, and it chose, it set them always to the last product in the array, which, as you can see, is Student Organizer Pro. And the result of that is that when it runs, you get Student Organizer Pro as the app that's for sale, and then if you touch it, that's what you purchase. So I want to change the price, the upsell, and the product, as well as, well, pretty much those things, to be set based on my business rules. And my business rules are going to be that you'll be able to buy Class Organizer. If you have Class Organizer, you should get the upsell to Class Organizer Pro. If you have Opportunity Organizer, you should get the upsell to Opportunity Organizer Pro. Student Organizer Pro is out there for in-app purchases directly from the App Store, and if you have Project Organizer, then you should be upsell to Project Organizer Pro. So I'm going to put that logic right here. Now I do have methods. But if I call those methods, it'll call back into this method, and then I'll end up in a recursive loop. So I can't do that. I think I'm going to do true for that one, and if this doesn't work out, I'll flip it to false. But I'm going to presume it's a Project Organizer app unless I find out otherwise. Let's just run it with the Project Organizer app. Oh, I have to change one more thing. I had this bug that I was talking about before where it was always buying the wrong product because it was hard-coded to buy the first product in the list. That was wrong because, well, that was just wrong. And then I changed it to always buy the last product in the list, which is also wrong because I really wanted to purchase the product that is the product I set to products inside the shared object. So let's just change that. And that should be set to the current product for sale. Okay, this one not really used here, but we'll fix it in the other two places. Definitely used here. And again, this is in Objective-C. If you have Swift, you won't have to deal with this, which I'd probably rather deal with, but rewriting all this app into Swift is a bit much. I'm only rewriting parts as I need, well, whenever I introduce new functionality, but because both the Objective-C code and the Swift code use the in-app purchase logic, I have to keep working in Objective-C in the in-app purchase logic unless I rewrite all the in-app purchase logic into Swift, which I'm just not ready for that. I don't even know if Swift's ready for that. It's just keeps changing all the time. Okay, so the first test is going to be, let's see what it's upselling to. Okay, it's still upselling to Student Organizer Pro because it thinks it's a student app, which I have to connect to Wi-Fi. You always have to be connected to Wi-Fi in order for it to work. Okay, this is the project organizer container app executing it's executing with a test ID. The test ID has purchased class organizer, the free version, and it's executing in the free version. So as you can see, it refers to classes instead of projects, and when you create a project or create a class, it contains notes about a class, work, homework, labs, lectures, projects in a class, and assignments. It has its own separate to-do list that's specific to that app. And on the upgrade notifications, the Purchase Class Organizer Pro with the purchase price of $1.99 appears. On the Project Rename tab, there's also Purchase Class Organizer for $1.99. And on the Settings tab, it says Buy Class Organizer Pro, $1.99. The rate refers to Rating Class Organizer, and if you touch that, it pops up with the pop-up. Now the thing here is it's doing a rating on the container, not a rating on the individual app. And I wanted to link directly to the in-app purchase and do a rating directly on the in-app purchase. But if you bounce over here to the App Store, actually let me just bounce on the device. Okay, so you'll see my apps listed here in the Project Organizer app, and you see the Project Organizer Pro app just below it. Now if you drill in, there's a rating here, and there's a single rating here, a 5-star rating with this message from Trador. But if you go up down to the Pro version and you look at the ratings, it also has the same single rating by Trador. So there's one rating for the container, even if it contains multiple in-app purchases. All of the ratings will be assigned to the container. Not ideal. Apple could do something with that if they want in the future, but that's the way it works right now. Let's bounce. Okay, so that's the ratings. The next thing is the share, and that allows it to email an email out to somebody to tell them that, hey, check out this app, I really like it. And you can send that. Oh, I'm sorry, I meant to showcase that a little better. So it has a link to a branch IO link that will pop them into either the website, or it'll go directly open up the app on the device, or it will or it'll bounce over to the App Store, depending on the device that they're on and whether they're mobile or whether they're on a desktop. The link behaves differently, and that's just branch IO takes care of all that. But this is personalized, unique. It's made unique by, it refers to class organizer, and it tells you it's talking about class information as opposed to project information. And that's some of this code here, which is like, if it's, let me just enlarge this a little bit. So if it's a student app, then it talks about classes. If it's a career app, then it talks about job opportunities. And if it's a project app, it refers to projects and organizing your project information. So that's some of the logic. That simply groups between the three types of apps. In other places, the logic had to be a little more extensive, particularly for the images and references. Like if I go to the contained app name here, and I jump to the definition of that, you'll see this one has five-way logic. Priority is the Project Organizer Pro app, because that's the most expensive, and then this is the name of the app. And then if it's the Opportunity Organizer Pro bundle ID, it'll refer to the Opportunity Organizer Pro, and then the logic's based on the bundle ID for Student Organizer Pro, Class Organizer Pro. And then here at the bottom I have the two freemium options, which are the Opportunity Organizer and the Class Organizer. And so that, and by default it assigns the contained app as the app name, which would be Project Organizer in this. So I don't have to have an else Project Organizer because it's handled right here on this line. But you need to look at the logic, and when you're going to have a lot of these if, or you can do them with case statements to handle the behavior of the app, but you need to decide on the precedence of behavior. So for instance, I've got Project Organizer, then Opportunity Organizer Pro, Student Organizer Pro, Class Organizer Pro, Opportunity Organizer, Class Organizer, and then Project Organizer as the last. And I set up this precedent through testing and figuring out Project Organizer is the name of the container, so that's the last in the precedence. So if any of the other in-app purchases apply, then it's not going to have the behavior of Project Organizer. But it's important to map out this behavior, and you're going to have a lot of switches and decisions, and you're going to make sure that the logic's always the same on all these, because you don't want the behavior to be like Sybil, where it's a multiple personality. You don't want to open up, have it say it's the Project Organizer app and then have classes in it, or say it's the Opportunity Organizer and then have classes in it or projects. You want it to behave the same as its name. So it's really important just to map that out and then make sure that you stick with it. That's the share. The next item here is the restore purchases, and I use this. I have different test IDs set up with in-app purchases, so I have them set up for this different scenarios. I've got the Class Organizer. I got one test ID that has just Class Organizer bought, and then I have another one that has just the Opportunity Organizer bought. Those are the two free versions. And then I have, you don't have to purchase anything to get the Project Organizer. You just have to delete the app off the device, reinstall it, and then it'll default to Project Organizer. And then I have to examine the behavior in each of these scenarios and make sure that the upgrade path for Project Organizer is going to go to Project Organizer Pro, Class Organizer is going to go to Class Organizer Pro, Opportunity Organizer is going to go to Opportunity Organizer Pro, and then Student Organizer Pro can only be purchased by going to the App Store, clicking on the link, Student Organizer Pro, and then it'll bounce into the app, download the app, install it, and then send over an in-app purchase, where the user will get a purchase of the Student Organizer Pro app. So then the name here, that had to be localized in there. So the logic for that is basically this logic right here. What is the app name? So I display the app name based on this logic, based on the bundle, actually the purchased, the in-app purchase, checking a list of all the in-app purchases, and then deciding what to do in each scenario. And then I have just below that on the screen, we have the what is normally the bundle ID. I've got that replaced with an in-app purchase ID if in fact it is an in-app purchase. And I just spotted a bug. So what I need to do is put my bundle ID right here instead of the app name. So I'll fix that. I'll retest that. Let's fix that now. When app launches as an opportunity organizer, free version, the settings tab shows that it's opportunity organizer. The upgrade button, it was abbreviated as by Opportunity Org Pro because the large font on this page could not fit all the text and I wanted the price to appear. The share button launches and references Opportunity Organizer and talks about job opportunities and sorting your opportunities. The rest of the screen all references Opportunity Organizer. On this change screen, the button was enlarged a little to accommodate the longer text. That works well for Italian and French and Spanish, which are, as well as German sometimes, take longer to say things than just English, but works well for this long app name, Opportunity Organizer Pro. Same here, expanded the button so that it could all be shown on one line instead of wrapping. No debugging information shown. Okay, for this next test, I'm going to test Opportunity Organizer Pro. So I've already purchased this under one of my testing IDs. So I deleted the app off the device, then I logged out of the testing ID in the iTunes. Now I relaunch the app. It's going to start up as Project Organizer initially. Then I'm going to do restore purchases, and I'm going to use one of the existing test IDs that's already purchase Opportunity Organizer. Then I press the OK button to initiate the restore. Okay, so now we're in Opportunity Organizer Pro. As you can see, it's a licensed version. It has the rate button where you can still rate the app. Again, the rate button is going to rate the container app. You can't have ratings on in-app purchases. Okay, the share button references Opportunity Organizer Pro.